Welcome back to New Entry Wrestling Podcast. IAN is who I am, and if you're feeling so high, enjoy. Give me a holla. But since I won't be able to hear it, how about you just like this video and subscribe, baby? And on this video, we'll be discussing WWE Premium Live Event Bash in Berlin and giving our predictions. And I'm here with my guest, Andre. What it do, baby?
What's up, man?
Welcome back. Like I said, Bash in Berlin. Are you excited for this show, bro?
I'm looking forward to it, man. I like our overseas matches, our overseas pay-per-views. Um, how they and over in the European Union they love heels, they love
Yes, they
to boo
do.
baby faces. So it's gonna be enemy
Yeah.
territory for all the good guys, pretty much.
You
Even
know,
maybe even Cody Rhodes might not get the best nod.
mm, okay. Yeah, I will agree with you when it comes to the overseas fans. Great, great crowd. Obviously, have you watched a soccer slash football game?
Oh man, it goes crazy.
They g- they
Well,
go crazy.
it's I don't know if you ever saw that movie with Charlie Hunnam from Sons of
Mm.
Anarchy, the Hooligans movie, soccer
I know,
Hooligans
I
movie.
know, I know what you're talking about. I
It's
haven't
so
seen
much
it.
like that, and I know it
Mm,
because people that I either work with that used to travel to all across Europe, or people that actually live there that I work with,
mhm.
they will say that's probably like the mediocre version of how bad it is.
Oh
So
wow.
you introduce those same fans with wrestling, and it's just as bad as a hockey game. Yeah,
Mm,
rough crowd.
rough crowd. I mean, that's why the sport is so intense, just so the crowd could react to it,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I'm excited for it. The one match I am super excited for. And then what you mentioned earlier, like the when it comes to the overseas matches are like WrestleMania dream matches. And one of those is Randy Orton versus Gunther. Even though they face each other in the final at WrestleMania, at the King of the Ring tournament, whatever, the King and Queen. Uh, this is a rematch, Gunther versus Randy Orton. And then the question I got here, it's from a fan. What is your thoughts on Gunther versus Randy Orton? And do you think Randy Orton will walk out 15-time world heavyweight champion? What do you think, Andre?
As much as I want to see Randy win that big gold belt because I don't know, something about him wearing that gold title. He
He
seems
looks good
more.
in it.
I mean, it's the first belt that he won, and
Mm,
unfortunately, it's been tainted by he wasn't ready yet. So then, why put the belt on him?
right,
Yeah. Just because they wanted to have both Benoit and Eddie Guerrero drop the title around the same time, almost the same type of title reign they had, almost.
right.
Um, as much as I want to see Randy win, obviously this is supposed to give Gunther the nod to continue the legacy. You
Mhm,
can't just have the guy that dominated the UK division for 2 years,
mhm.
despite the pandemic, um, dominated the Intercontinental division for 2 years,
Yeah.
practically. Um, Suddenly lose the World Heavyweight Championship. Um, will Gunther have a 2 year reign? Who knows? You never know. Might be one of those. We're gonna hot potato it for a while.
Right.
But I don't see him losing the championship this soon. Maybe a year from now. Maybe somewhere closer to WrestleMania. But as much as I want to see Randy tie up with eventually with Cena and Flair, I don't think it's going to be this championship.
Mm,
And if it is this championship, it's just not going to be this year.
okay.
Um, we're probably going to get a better match than we did at the King of the Ring. Um, I I do see some sort of screwy finish. I do see somehow the bloodline possibly getting involved. Just
I think that too.
just so it brings Randy back to helping Cody
Hmm.
before we eventually see Randy turning on Cody.
Mm,
Um,
I like that. For me, I would say Um, Gunther should drop the belt to Orton just because of that sloppy finish from the King of the Ring.
Mhm.
Randy Orton's shoulders weren't down, so technically the match should have still be continuing. But Randy Orton said it in the promo. I don't even know why the ref counted to three. Everybody kept saying, "Why'd you count to three?" His shoulder weren't down. This is why I'm able to have this opportunity to face, Gunther. So I feel like, and also this is his first world title defense. You know, yeah, you could just say whatever you want about the UK, but it's not, they don't consider it as the world title. They don't. It's like the NXT title. So, you know, you, and then with the IC title, yeah, that's an accomplish. And I feel like it'll be okay for Gunther to drop the belt to Randy Orton. And again, you just said it earlier. This is the same guy who won the belt and then dropped it a month, later. Orton could say the same thing to Gunther. Oh, look who's not ready. Look who's not ready. That 800 days, 666 days vanish because of what Randy Orton just did.
Now, I will say this: the only reason I would see Randy winning is if it's gonna lead to bad blood
Mm. A
and
rematch, a Rumble match, basically.
and between Gunther and Randy, and then at that point, I think Gunther would actually decimate Randy.
Mhm. That's the only way because it just shows he Gunther, this is his first world title defense. Why is he okay? Yes, he's good in the ring. He should be cocky. But though, bro, this is your first world title defense in in the main event. And again, he only beat Damian Priest because of the help of Finn Balor. So, and then would you once again, I was gonna say it too, but you beat me to it. What if somebody from the bloodline member comes in and interfere? There's a chance that Gunther may not even be this tough guy anymore. He may be like the Kevin Owens where he needs help. So, and yeah, I feel like Randy Orton should take the belt off Gunther and then just drop the belt back to him at Bad Blood. I mean, that's what he did with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre beat Randy Orton at SummerSlam, and then he dropped the belt to in the Hell in a Cell, and then he won it back on Monday Night Raw in the main event, and he felt like that match on Raw that he had with Randy Orton, taking the belt away from Orton helped his career more than just beating him. Beating him and retaining the title, it was like, okay, what's next? But when he faced Randy Orton in the main event on Raw with zero fans for the WWE Championship, that helped them more. And now I personally that night that's what made him be a main event player from that point on. In my opinion. But I got a next question right here. If Gunther does beat Randy Orton, then who's next? I believe Sheamus or Drew McIntyre should be next in line to face Gunther. Ooh, what's your take on that? Sheamus or Drew McIntyre next in line to face Gunther. Uh, Drew makes sense just because I mean, if he does face CM Punk, um, I mean, he is gonna face CM Punk at Bash in Berlin. Um, but at Bad Blood and all that stuff, let's just say Gunther continues his feud with Randy Orton, and then after that, Drew is done with CM Punk. If they can make it into a number one contender match, I feel like that will work out. Sheamus, would I like to see Sheamus versus Gunther? Hell yeah. After Orton, I don't think so. Later on in the near
Yeah,
future.
I mean, after that, you have a series of guys that Gunther can face. Yes, it's going to be
Mhm.
Drew and Sheamus more than likely again. Um, Also likely Priest and Finn because they're both going to eventually make their points and cases for how uh, Priest only won the Money in the Bank because he was part of the Judgment Day, and uh, or how he's only champion now because it wasn't Finn who beat Seth.
Hmm.
Just get in the mix. I feel like Gunther, whenever he gets the title back or if he retains, you're gonna see a series of multi-man matches, and not gonna be just one-on-one matches, like it was with the IC title.
Yeah.
Um, because
I mean,
eventually it's gonna run thin, and until they do that next superstar shakeup where they transfer a few guys here and there from SmackDown Raw, you got no one else for either him or Cody to face. So
yeah.
you're probably gonna see some guys go to SmackDown, you're gonna see some guys go to Raw. I mean, you literally had to take Randy from SmackDown to face Gunther just so that he'd have somebody to face because whoever he would have faced next is now caught up in a continuance rivalry.
Hmm.
Drew has to continue facing Punk. Seth's going to take some time off until he faces Bronson Reed. Um, and you just started the rivalry with Priest and Finn.
Right.
So um, it's going to be a lot of him trying to dodge Priest until they finally get a match. And if it's not inside the Hell in a Cell, probably even inside a steel cage.
Hmm.
The temporary rivalry ending.
Yeah, I feel like Damian Priest getting his rematch, if he ever does get a rematch, um, it's probably either gonna happen at Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. Um, I don't think it's gonna be like, oh, here you go, because if they did a build up for Gunther and Damian Priest the first time around, that the second time they're not just gonna be like, here you go, you know. And then both, I felt like Gunther being just given, having this match with Randy Orton. I just thought the reason why they did that, it was because Randy Orton wasn't in the SummerSlam card. I felt like that was it. Same thing with Kevin Owens. It's like the reason why we're giving you these title pictures is because what you've been doing for the company,
Yeah.
and also you guys missed out SummerSlam. You know, so I'm pretty sure they missed out on a huge payday and they're gonna, cash in at the bash. So that's going back to Randy Orton, that's the other thing I feel like Gunther is gonna win. It's just like Randy Orton was just thrown this, but they still have this opportunity of Randy Orton just winning the title, and taking it away from Gunther, just and he could drop it at the next pay-per-view, or he could drop it on Monday Night Raw the next night. They've done that before, you know. I don't know why they're so scared to do this again. If they were able to give us Rey Mysterio versus the Miz in the beginning opening on Raw, and 2 hours later, we are giving John Cena versus Rey Mysterio once again for the WWE Championship, and Cena takes the title away from Rey Mysterio, where he just won it for the first time ever. And then seconds later, here comes CM Punk. So I'm pretty sure we could get something like that where Orton takes the belt from Gunther just to drop it, you know. Um, but like and then I will say this, Gunther in triple threat matches, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Definitely. And I really hope, see, that was a good question with the Sheamus and Drew, because that they Gunther faced both of them separately and at the same time in the ring.
And he carried both of them because he knows that they're not they're guys who try to do long matches, but they get winded because of they got all that physique.
Mhm.
So while one of them is catching their breath, he gets to face the other one.
Yeah. Because personally, I feel like the only person who could keep up with him is Chad Gable, in my opinion. And what's the other guy? The NXT guy, the UK guy, Elijah? No,
Yeah.
him. I feel like those are the only two guys that could keep up with Gunther. Oh, well, and I'm pretty sure Braun Breaker could keep up with him, but I don't recall him facing Gunther.
I, I could have sworn they had a match in NXT when he after he changed his name from Walter to Gunther.
Okay, it was probably just like a quick one time. I think it was probably NXT 2.0 then. While it was still like in that
Nickelodeon face.
yeah, and then look at the beginning stage. So yeah, like the Nickelodeon stage, because LA Knight was still part of it, and Gunther was still part of it. And I think Gunther had a feud with, I think his last feud was with LA Knight, if I'm not mistaken. So, um, moving on to the next question. This one's a good one. Will the Terror Twins be the first mixed tag team to win some tag team gold? Damn. The Terror Twins. I'm assuming that's Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Is
Yep.
that what they're going
Yep.
by? That's wild. Uh, to be the first to win some tag team gold. I mean, it
Nah.
works. It
Nah.
works. You don't see
Nah.
that
Nah.
happening, or you
Nah.
don't want that to
I don't
happen.
see that happening because I still see her husband trying to do whatever he can to get out of his contract.
Mm,
He's doing both him and Aleister Black want to leave AEW, especially now with Triple H in charge, the
right.
guy that made them number one on that show. Uh, and and it's clear they see that things are doing better than what they have in AEW. They don't seem to be as happy these days doing the storylines they're doing.
Mhm.
Um, Having to just be focused on being a cult like stable
Oh,
versus a badass stable.
yeah.
So, um, I if there's ever going to be if there's ever going to be intergender tag teams, I think it's always going to be based on like a couples kind of thing, not necessarily we're just put together because we were part of a group thing. I think it's going to be a relationship kind of thing. So if Maurice was younger, I think you would probably see Maurice and Miz be involved in that because you would have Maurice and Miz, you'd have
Mm.
Charlotte and Andrade, you'd have eventually Buddy Murphy and Rhea, and if it wasn't for the damn divorce, you could have even had Rusev and Lana. But suppose
I think you're getting what I think you're getting confused with the question. I think, do you
no,
think this mean
you're
like an
saying
actual mix, like win bringing a title?
yeah, I'm saying
Oh,
that a title.
oh,
I'm thinking a title
bring
like that would be
oh.
started by an actual power couple.
I took it as, because you know how Judgment Day have the tag team titles?
Right.
I took it as that way.
Ah.
That's how I took it.
Nah. I mean, it's not that it won't happen. I still think Rhea's gonna be more focused on getting that championship back, and
I mean,
then it kind of makes, in my opinion, it makes her look weak because then if she loses to Liv,
mhm,
yeah, no, she beats JD and Finn, but it's like okay, it's JD.
right.
It's not really a big enough name for her to have pinned because at least China took down a big acronym in Y2J.
Was he a big star at that time, Chris Jericho, though?
It's bigger than Hardcore Holly when it came to that triple threat.
Okay. You got me there
You
on that
you you
one.
had he
You
had
got me
crowd
that.
reaction. He had
Yeah.
crowd reaction as a tweener in that moment.
So
Whereas
yeah, great.
whereas
Okay.
JD, I'm like no offense to
Yeah.
him. I get that he's Finn's best friend, but that doesn't necessarily make him a draw. It just makes him
Mm.
just make
But
it,
he'd
it
be a good person. I mean, it's something similar to one of those things where I think if the moment, if the opportunity is there where, hey, we could put Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley to face Finn Balor and JD for the tag team titles and win it, and then again drop it, that'd be a great idea. And I feel like,
now she was one if Finn was willing to eat the pin from her after
mm,
a choke slam from Priest,
there you
then
go.
it would make them both him be strong because he delivered a finisher and her, then it would make them as a stronger intergender tag team.
Yeah. And then
But if
it
it's
makes
but
him
if it's
more
gonna be something where
village.
but if it's gonna be something her hitting her finisher on JD, it's like she might as well hit the finisher on Dom.
Oh yeah,
JD
that's true.
JD doesn't give that I'm tough as nails. I just have a big head vibe. That's it. That's all he gives up. Even Carlito would make it look better for her if she was to pin Carlito and if he was the one half of the tag team champions
Yeah.
because he
Uh,
has a better look.
and he has a bigger name as JD McDonough. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even call him by his full name. And to be honest, we all think he's only there because, well, they needed another member, and plus his name is JD.
And
So
Finn is his best friend. So,
yeah, so they needed somebody to team up with Dom, and also, another person to feed the pin, the take the pin. Uh,
but I do see maybe a tag team match at least between
for the titles, but you don't see them winning.
if she steps away from facing Liv, then yeah, maybe she'll want revenge on Finn also because he
Mm.
co-conspired against her.
Yeah, true. That's true. Um,
But I see her more focused on Dom after that. I think as soon as she's done with Liv, she's gonna go after Dom because Dom's the one who betrayed her first.
I think that's what the buildup is to get Rhea Ripley versus Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio. I think that's the buildup. I feel like that's where they're trying to go towards. Um, I just hope
Now, what
it's
you could do is you can have Rhea and Priest be responsible for why Finn and JD lose the tag titles.
mm,
Remember, Jay kind of teased that maybe him and Sammy might take the tag titles off of the Judgment Day.
right.
So maybe it'll give JD some time off. I know Carlito's selling a shoulder injury because he's been wearing that bandage a lot around his arm.
He's
So
been hurt on that shoulder since last year.
so what you could do is have eventually set up a match between Sammy and Jay versus the Judgment Day, and at
Mm,
some point in the match, whenever the refs get attacked or knocked over, if it's a no DQ match, I don't know where here comes Priest, then here comes Liv, and she's the one who they deliver their finisher on Finn, and Jay comes with the Uso splash, takes the tag titles off. Now Finn wants revenge on both of them.
I like that idea.
And JD is too hurt to compete, so he's gonna insert Dom, who's gonna
Mm,
try and chicken his way out of it, but he'll be like, "We got this. We got our ace," and he's pointing to Liv.
mm, okay. So you're
And
basically so basically you would rather see Jay versus Sami Zayn than the Terror Twins going after the tag team goals? Or do you still
yeah,
want to see that, or do you just don't want them to win?
I guess I don't know. I don't.
If it's like if it's there, it's there. It's like
Yeah,
if they offer it, okay. If we could avoid it, let's avoid it.
I mean, I just rather see Jay win another championship before I see Rhea win a championship.
Mm,
With the whole year he's had of almost becoming a singles champion, I'd rather see him win one more gold without the need of Jimmy before he has to be inserted into the bloodline. And the
okay.
sad part is he's gonna be dragged into it instead of like letting him be on his own for a little bit more, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's gonna go back into this bloodline feud, and he has not won a single title. He won tag team gold with Cody Rhodes last year, and then going back now, I mean, going forward, and now here we are, and he hasn't really done much. He has been in the main event against Damian Priest for the world title at Backlash, and but ever since then he wasn't even part of SummerSlam. And last year's SummerSlam, he was in the main event with Roman Reigns, and this year he's not even a part of it. And at the time of recording, he's not even part of Bash in Berlin. So it's like right now. It seems like we're the hot wrestlers like Jay Usos and LA Knight. Well, LA Knight's champion now, but at the time, like these guys were just wrestling, being put on the show, while everybody else who were champions or the top guys had a feud. But they were barely wrestling. And then
And unfortunately, Jimmy's always had a history of injuring his leg somehow. That every time he would, Jay would kind of have to sit out and do catering or do announcing
Jay or Jimmy?
or Jay.
Mm,
Jimmy was always constantly getting injured. Jimmy was so between the
mm,
two of them. So anytime that he would get injured or something happened to him, Jay would always have to either be in catering. Remember, there was a one year where he was a SmackDown announcer, not a ring announcer, but a color
yeah.
commentator.
Oh, I thought that was Jimmy who was doing that. That was Jay? Oh, wow. That's crazy. I remember that, but I always thought that was Jimmy.
That's that's part of why Roman did the whole main event Jey Uso thing. Yes, it's to get a quick payday, but it was to give him something to do so he wouldn't just be lounging around like waiting until his brother got better
Yeah.
to get back into the tag team scene or back into the championship picture. That was the focus on why, so that it would not leave him just floundering and waiting for his brother to get healed again.
Mm.
So it gave him something to do.
I said this like last year, when Gunther was having that feud with Chad Gable, and Chad Gable couldn't beat Gunther. Though that was a hell of a rivalry and matches that we had, I felt like that should have been Jay's spot.
Yeah,
That should have been Jay's spot because
Even WrestleMania, that could have been Jay Spot instead of Sammy's.
yeah. Because even losing to Gunther, it's just like, okay, cool, it makes sense. It is what it is. It explains why you're at where you're at, but it's just like realistic. It's like, bro, you haven't really done anything, you know, since like WrestleMania was his last big thing, and it was just like a worse match. And then we had the backlash, and then backlash was not even a great match. It was just a hot crowd, you know. So it was still enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, but it was nothing compared to the AJ Styles and
Oh man,
Cody Rhodes match.
you had it's the soccer hooligans. You had the soccer
Yeah.
hooligans take over the whole main event match.
Hmm. What was the main event that night? Was
AJ
it
Styles
that?
versus
It was that
AJ
one?
versus Cody.
Okay. It was the Clash of the Castle. They opened up the show.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you really are phenomenal. La 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 la.
and that crowd was crazy. I'm probably gonna watch that match after
You
this.
might get something like that with the Bash in Berlin crowd.
Oh, I would not be surprised. This is the first time they're gonna be in Berlin, right?
Yep.
Well, I got one more question of that. What is this? This is for the Judgment Day. Um, I believe that Finn Balor will be facing Damian Priest at WrestleMania 41 inside Hell in a Cell. Do you guys agreed? I mean, that would be cool. I don't think that's gonna happen though.
If you do it, put the demon and get the demon back to being a badass.
Ooh. Ooh, didn't Damian Priest have face paint before as punishment Martinez?
Uh,
Or am I thinking
a lot of eyeliner, but I don't know if it was necessarily.
like it wasn't like his gimmick thing, right? It was just
No,
maybe
it was like the original Crow makeup, not the
without the
whiteout, but just the eyes.
just the without the white face paint.
Right,
It just had the okay.
right.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, but I feel like I only want to see this, and I would be okay with seeing Finn Balor versus Damian Priest at WrestleMania 41 if they keep the feud now as a mixed thing. But the Terror, what are they called again? The Terror Twins versus Judgment Day. If they keep it like that, and then later on bring up Damian Priest and Finn Balor, I'm cool with it. The only reason why I'm saying this because I feel like Finn Balor needs to what's that word? Like redemption or redeemed himself from the Hell in a Cell match from WrestleMania 39. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. If WrestleMania 39 was a hell of a match, and it was until the little botch incident. Um, if it wasn't for that, then I would say no, I don't need to see this match at
I also hate
WrestleMania.
what Vince did to the demon. So I mean, I know in New Japan it was pretty much what Vince made the demon being. It's not a real thing. It's just face paint. But at
Mhm.
least Triple H capitalized on it and said, okay, we're gonna make this an alter ego of yours.
Yeah.
This is your trump card when you need to get a win over somebody. It's like the only
Mm.
reason he beat Bobby Lashley is because he became the demon. So you're
Yeah.
telling me you're telling me the demon can beat Bobby Lashley, but with Leo Rush, but it's not going to beat Roman Reigns just because he has Jay and Jim Uso and
Hmm.
somebody cutting the turnbuckle and breaking his dick on it.
Yeah, that I agree with you with that. And then that's what failed with the Fiend as well. It was just like it didn't really make
Nobody can beat the
sense.
Fiend, but apparently Oldberg could.
Yeah. And then The Undertaker defeated Goldberg. Wasn't it the same year or was that the year before?
It was the year before.
Okay, so Goldberg couldn't defeat The Undertaker, but he was able to defeat the Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
I am sure Bret Hart loved watching that match.
Oh, Bret Hart. Shout out to Bret Hart. All right, moving on. Next question. This has to do with Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Will Kevin Owens be turning on Cody Rhodes? If not, what's next for Kevin Owens? Continue his feud with the Bloodline? Kevin Owens should be in the mid card, sorry, to be helping guys like LA Knight, yeah, and LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and more. I would love for Kevin Owens to go back on Raw to face Braun Breaker and Gunther. Damn, bro, I would love to see that too. What's your take on that?
Uh, yeah, I think
I don't think he's gonna turn on Cody Rhodes,
I I I
especially
hope
if
it
he's gonna
ignites.
lose.
Yeah, no, well, see, I think the flaw to doing that is you don't have enough baby faces.
Mhm.
So if you turn Kevin Owens heel, then one, you got no support for Cody, and you're expecting one guy that, no offense, is his size, not the size of Drew, to be able to stand up to everyone.
Right.
Um, so unless Cody swells up another 30, 40 pounds in the next few months and has a Homelander physique, it's just not going to work.
Right.
Um, and
It's definitely not gonna work when he turns heel.
the what'll be good about it if you do a backstage segment with Kevin Owens and Sammy
Mm,
about how they both failed recently and they got to get back on their feet.
okay.
Maybe at some point you put them together, whether it's on SmackDown or Raw. Some ways down the road after maybe Jay and Sammy, whether they win or fail to capture the tag titles, you put them back together for a bit
Right.
and make them a winning tag team without the tag titles for a bit,
Oh,
just
okay.
so
I
they're
like
not
that.
just so that they're not eating so many losses, because that's all you've seen. That's all I've seen so sadly Kevin's do since they lost the tag titles. Like, I have
Yeah.
not seen him win too many matches. Probably the last big match he won was when he faced Austin Theory after facing uh
That one feud that he's been having with
yeah,
Austin Theory. I
the double
think
punch that was like the last big feud he won.
mm,
Because
he
then he
didn't
lost
even
to
beat
Logan.
Logan Paul either.
No,
He never beat Logan Paul. He took the loss. He took the
he should have.
pinfall
He
at
should have beaten
WrestleMania.
Logan Paul, even if it was. But then they wanted Logan Paul to have a lengthy reign.
Yeah.
He could have hot potato it for a bit.
I think it would have Logan Paul. I think when he beat
He could have then started bragging about how he's the two time U.S. champion.
and he defeated Kevin Owens, who's a former Universal Champion. That alone, that if Kevin Owens would have took the title away from Kevin Owens, I mean, sorry, from Logan Paul, and Logan Paul won it back from Kevin Owens, that title reign right there, even though it would have been a short reign because he would have dropped it to LA Knight, that reign would have been so much better because he would have been bragging and hyping it up
Because
that I
he's a two
defeated Kevin
he's a
Owens.
two-time U.S. champion, and his second title reign was even longer than the first one. So then watch, okay, you're gonna beat me now. My third title reign is gonna be even longer than my, to kind of hype himself up there.
Yeah, he could be just like the United States guy. That's like that's the only title I'm going after. Keep bragging until something else is next for him. Um, and that's the issue for Kevin Owens, where it's like if I don't see him turning on Cody Rhodes, right? Now, what's next? He continues his feud with the bloodline, and there's no buildup for that either. There's no payout for that. For at least for Kevin Owens. For
Not
Roman
unless not
Reigns and Cody Rhodes, there is.
not unless he's the first one to beat Jacob Fatu.
Okay. I mean, and then good news for Jacob Fatu. He's okay. He's gonna be resting for the rest of the month. So he's probably gonna be back for Bash in Berlin or the week after. So no surgery. So Jacob Fatu is okay from SummerSlam from that knee injury or foot injury. No, I still don't know what happened. Uh, but yeah, Kevin Owens versus Jacob. I feel like that's definitely gonna be a banger. Um, and yeah, I feel like that's the only because obviously Kevin Owens defeating Solo would defeat everything of the whole bloodline. But Jacob, that would be a bigger payout for him. And at least that way it's like, okay, I'm done. Bye. I feel like Kevin Owens, I understand why they brought him back to feud with the bloodline because it's like, hey, there's nobody else. And Kevin Owens is a big name. Like,
He's also the first one to have to deal with the bloodline when the pandemic started
yeah,
because he was the first one to face Roman after Jey Uso.
Jey Uso. So yeah, technically, yeah, because that's what technically started the bloodline when Jey Uso joined forces with Roman Reigns. And Kevin Owens was the first guy. And bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, those TLC match, my favorite one, banger. The Royal Rumble was really, really good, but the ending, bro, the ending with the handcuff, Roman, they couldn't get, unlock it. That's what ruined it for me. And what bothers me is that they didn't edit it out and when you watch the replay, they didn't edit it out. So it's like you get to watch this cringe moment where it's just like, all right, it is what it is. Um, the way I look at it, I don't even look at it as a last man standing match no more. I just look at it as a lights out match. Because if I watch it as a lights out match, it's a great, fantastic match because it's like, oh, that's how you win by knocking out your opponent. And that's what Roman Reigns did. Damn, that was a big gulp of water, bro. Somebody was thirsty. What was the other thing this person? Oh, and Kevin Owens should go to the mid card to help guys like LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, many more on SmackDown. Or the fan would love to see Owens to go on Raw to see Braun Breaker versus Gunther. Um, yeah, I feel like Kevin Owens should have been in the mid card. Again, we understand why he's in this bloodline feud again. And clearly it's if I really hope this bloodline is going to end and I feel like you just mentioned it. Kevin Owens was in the beginning. So for him to be in the end of it makes sense. Because can you imagine that you're at the start of this great historic group feud storyline, everything. It has everything. You were in the beginning of it and you're not even there for the end. It's like being there for Avengers 1 and you're not even there for the end game.
And you know right now who with the way that things are going for Kevin Owens, the whole situation with his mom, uh, Cody giving him the nudge.
Mhm.
If the Royal Rumble does not go to The Rock or Roman, I think Kevin Owens is Kevin Owens and Finn Balor are the two good names as
Ooh,
heels to win it, or not traditional baby faces.
I can see that. I would actually love for Kevin
Because
Owens
because
to
Gunther
win as a
already
babyface
won the
though.
King of the Ring. I don't think he should win the Rumble now that he just won the King of the Ring within the same, so within almost the same year almost.
Right.
I
And
think
he
that
won
should
the
be
world
saved.
title too.
I think it should be saved for a later time, especially if he might have a lengthy world title reign. Um, Drew does not need to win another Royal Rumble anytime soon if he's not going to necessarily win the World Heavyweight Championship. So for the Drew to win another Royal Rumble and not win the title, or have
Mm,
somebody that's not that Drew Gunther's not credible, but I mean like somebody different for Drew to face
right.
in a WrestleMania like event. So Drew's out of the picture. Um, unless Seth is going to guarantee be the world champion, again, no reason for Punk to win the Royal Rumble right now.
Mhm.
He just came
They
back.
they tried
He
that last year.
he's got a good he's got a good maybe 5-6 years left in him
Yeah.
as long as he does the part time schedule.
If he
So
wrestles the way how
so
he
he,
wrestles
he
too.
he doesn't need to win the Rumble this year. He can win it the year afterwards. He
Yeah.
can win it for after Vegas. So with the way that Kevin Owens is, I think him and Finn are the best two front runners that are not The Rock and Roman for the Rumble.
I
And
agree. I agree.
it's gonna be based on the way they're being built right now. Whoever doesn't win the Rumble, I think would be the best one to be the Money in the Bank winner as the other option. So Finn wins the Rumble, Kevin wins the Money in the Bank, or vice versa.
So it's
Those
like
are,
that
those are two front runner names right now for me.
because like the obvious choice is Rock Roman.
And Kevin could even win it without winning at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
just to give him that main event spot that Vince was never going to give him.
I mean he got to face Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's like how is the guy able to face Stone Cold Steve Austin and then a year later he's in the main event once again in a tag team match for the tag team titles. First time ever, the tag team titles are in the main event. The second ever tag team to main event WrestleMania, and he's main evented back to back WrestleMania that didn't involve the world title. I feel like the guy deserves to win the Royal Rumble and to go on to main event WrestleMania. And like you said, he doesn't have to win it. He doesn't have to. You know, I
And
don't
then when he
think
and then when he finally does, it'll be a bigger payoff than a
it would.
a WrestleMania stage. It'll
Mm,
be almost like a WrestleMania moment for him
yeah.
when he
He
finally wins his second championship.
He could have that WrestleMania moment, and then either at Backlash, that's where he could win the title.
Or where I know he'd want to win it the most,
Mm.
Montreal.
Ooh, facts. Facts. That would be a better paid off for him. Who do you think Kevin Owens should take the title, the WWE Championship? Besides Cody Rhodes. It could be next year's WrestleMania. It could be 2 years from now. Kevin Owens wins his first ever WWE Championship. Who who should he take the title away from?
Roman.
Damn. Okay.
He needs redemption for every pay-per-view match he's had against Roman.
WrestleMania is his place to do that. I feel like that's
He is against Roman what Sammy was against him in win-loss records. Practically.
that's
Look how long it took for Sammy to finally pin Kevin Owens in the
yeah.
WWE. Or at least to get a win over him. A clean win. The only win they have over Roman is the tag title match. And that was because the Usos got involved.
True. Kevin Owens is Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the Roman is The Rock. And just like The Rock finally got his redemption and his his big win over Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was at WrestleMania 19. No titles, nothing. The Rock clearly went up to Stone Cold Steve Austin and say, I have done it all except beat you at WrestleMania. Beat you. I don't even care about the titles. It's not even about the titles. It's the fact that you beat me once, but twice at WrestleMania in the main event. And then obviously let's not forget all the times that you defeated me. But at WrestleMania, when I beat you at WrestleMania, I won. Like everything that you have done would not matter because I won the war. You won all these battles, but I won the war. And that's what The Rock did. It just sucks that he went to Hollywood after that. It sucked that Stone Cold Steve Austin, had to retire after that because that was definitely the end of the era for the Attitude era. The Triple H and the Undertaker, I think that's more of like Bruce Attitude Era and ruthless aggression.
Well, when the way JR put it, it was called the end of an era match. So it was more like the closing of the Attitude Era,
Mm.
because those were the guys that were the most
They were last
visual.
two
They were the most visual of the
Attitude Era.
Attitude Era.
Those are the two guys that as soon as The Rock and Stone Cold left, they were still able to promote The Undertaker and Triple H representing the Attitude Era.
Yep.
Because obviously The Rock was in Hollywood, Stone Cold Steve Austin had to be censored, you know. So I got the final questions from the fans. Roman Reigns versus Solo, if it does happen, what do you think the outcome will be?
No contest.
No contest. So you
First
think
match is
everybody's gonna interfere? Is that what you think? You think there's gonna be this? I'll be surprised if this is
gang
not gonna
gang.
be. I'll be surprised this is not gonna be like no bloodline rules, no disqualification, none of that. I'll be surprised this is a straight up one-on-one match.
I think that's where Jacob Fatu comes back. Uh, and
If he's clear. I
they'll
don't
probably
think he'll
wait.
be
They'll
able to
probably
be
they'll
cleared
probably.
to travel.
I think they're gonna wait for. Well, there's that. But um, yeah, no, I just think it's a no contest, and I think it's gonna just push the rivalry even longer.
Mm.
When he finally gets his win over Solo, I think it's gonna be either on the last show of the year, um, or day one. If there's a day one pay per view, that is.
I actually talked about that with Ever saying like in January, because the Royal Rumble is not going to be in January just for next year. Um, Nothing's confirmed going forward, but I feel like January should even have a premium live event. It should just have a special television of 3 hour show, 2 hour show, whatever. That's when they could have they could have Cyber Sunday or Taboo Tuesday at NXT.
Or bring back for one night the Raw Super Show where it's Raw and SmackDown logo and
Yeah,
it's all three. It's
all
both
three
brands
brands. Yeah, all three brands.
or
One
all three
hour.
brands.
Yeah, all three brands for one night. That could be a premium live event. Like bragging rights. No storyline, no feud,
You
nothing,
know,
no build up. This is bragging rights. This is a fantasy booking. We're gonna get Randy Orton from
clo-
SmackDown to face Gunther on
close
Smack
it.
Raw.
Close it with Roman versus Solo, and the winner gets their choice entry in the Rumble.
Oh, see, it could be a battle royal. It doesn't even have to be a one-on-one match. It could be a battle royal, and then the final two, whoever gets eliminated, the last person to get eliminated, that person gets entry number one. Then the winner gets entry number 30. Because at least that gives an opportunity, like, say, for example, Roman
Because there's
Reigns
no
or
way Roman Reigns is not going to be no Iron Man. We saw that already. We
no.
2016 is as far as he's ever going to do it.
Did he? What was the deal with that? Was it the deal where he didn't want to do it, or he felt like he couldn't do it, or if it was like, hey, this is the single, I can't do it, you got to take me out. That's the one thing I'm always curious about. Somebody needs to, and then Logan Paul had him on his show, and he does not ask him the right questions. That's why, ah, damn it. So
Nothing will top Dom asking him, "Are you even allowed to go to Japan?"
Dirty Dom is like the dirtiest heel ever. And I love Dom, man. Hey, Dom deserves to be in the main event at WrestleMania. Do you remember? Did you heard what Dom said? How the Money in the Bank, sorry, the custody of Dominic, the ladder match, how it first was presented was
Yeah.
he said that they were gonna hang him like a Money in the Bank briefcase, and Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero would have to pull him down. I don't know how true that is, but
That
that's
that sound
wild.
that definitely sounds like something Vince or
Yeah.
Vince Russo would have came up with.
Was Vince Russo? No, he was in TNA at that time.
No,
He was in TNA. But yeah, it does sound like a Vince Russo idea. We're gonna do predictions for Bash and Berlin once we find out more on the lineup on the card. Right now, we only got 3 matches, but we're gonna do a quick predictions on those 3 matches. Andre Gunther versus Orton, who you got over?
Randy, if he drops the title, only to if he wins the title, only to drop it back in the next pay per view.
Hmm.
Otherwise, Gunther, not with a dominating power bomb, but with a via roll up.
Ooh, so deja vu. Gunther's gonna get the W, and I think a bloodline member, what's his name? Tonga? I would say Tonga. Uh
Tomatonga.
have him come out and interfere, cause Randy Orton because I would love to see those two go at it, bro. And that guy has a badass entrance. Badass entrance. God damn. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
I would say, you know how you mentioned Gunther winning by roll up? I think this Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, I think this is the one that should win by roll up.
What if it's double shoulders roll up and Cody still gets the pin?
That'd be cool though. I like finish like that.
I always like the super suplex that turns into a double pin.
I refed a match once, and that was a spot. But I'm pretty sure with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, I'm pretty sure the finish is gonna be Kevin Owens going for the stunner, reverses it to a crossroads. That's most likely what's gonna happen. Up next, the last one at the moment. Uh, the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus the Judgment Day, Dirty Dominic, Mysterio, and Liv Morgan in a mixed tag team match. The obvious choice is the Terror Twins, but I'm pretty sure Judgment Day is gonna get the W, and they have to get the W on this one. They have to.
Via Finn.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest swerve would be either would be JD or R Truth. I feel like that would be the biggest swerve, and then the Miz coming out like, "What are you doing? What are
Right
you
there.
doing?" It's like I'm helping out. I'm helping out Judgment
Oh
Day.
man. I'm not a big Miz fan, but his facial expressions to everything Truth does
It's
is
classic.
gold. It is gold, and it's because
Facts.
of our Truth. Our Truth makes him better.
Facts.
Keep
Did you?
them as a tag team as long as you can, man. That's pure Booker T Goldust comedic tag team.
Oh
That's
yes,
anybody with Eugene. That's that comedic tag team you need.
Eugene and William Regal, bro. And you're talking about face expressions. William Regal has the best ones. The best ones, especially with his programs with Vince McMahon and Chris Jericho.
How about that post Survivor Series where they're all hiding from anyone, right? And
Mhm.
Regal accidentally urinates on Big Show
Oh yeah, yeah. I
after he looks
yeah.
down and sees. And it's like, well, he's called the Big Show.
Right. Who came out? Somebody yeah, I
Devon.
remember Demon. Was it
Devon
Demon?
had lost. I don't know who he was hiding from, but he said he just lost it, and then they're all reacting. And in the meantime, Regal's pissing all over Big Show's.
Leg, and then Big Show turns around like, Regal, what are you doing?
Because then that led to a Regal versus Big Show, and it
Mm.
backfired him because he did the power of the punch, but he didn't give himself enough space. So then Big Show lands on him and pins him, knocked out.
Oh snap! I don't remember watching that. I probably have watched the match. I just probably don't remember it. But that's funny as hell. So William Regal knocks him out, and then the Big Show just
Just falls
lands
on
up,
him.
falls on him. Bro, that's a world title moment right there. And I'm glad we brought this up because it's like it's stories like that that made mid card people matter. Small feuds, bro. Edge and Booker T had no business to be at WrestleMania. But Vince was like, nah, we got to get these guys at WrestleMania. Your storyline is who's going to get a shampoo
A shampoo
commercial.
commercial.
What happened to that, Vince? What happened to that,
Better yet,
Vince?
why didn't that rivalry go longer?
Why didn't it not lead to a hair versus hair between the two?
Because it's funny how you go. He faces Booker. He faces Kurt, loses to Kurt, so that Kurt gets his credibility before losing his hair. Uh, it's like he was evolved around hair though for like a few weeks in storylines.
I feel like besides Booker T, but I only say Booker T just because it was the feud. But I think the hair versus hair should have happened between Edge and Christian. All right, well, this is gonna wrap up this video. Till next time. Thanks, Andre, for joining me for quick predictions. Hopefully, we'll bring you back on for part two of the prediction for the rest of the lineup of the card. Till next time, I am Ian, aka Ernan, and we are out. Doo-doo-doo.